Success is sweet, and it's even sweeter if it is long awaited and won by amid struggles and defeats. Manny Pacquiao. There's a subtle, insidious myth that whispers to us, especially after we've been broken by trauma, battered by loss, or blindsided by unforgiving setbacks. It's the lie that success is a matter of luck, an easy victory reserved for the privileged few who have never known struggle. We see the final moments of triumph, the championship belt, the career milestone, the hard-won peace, and mistakenly assume the path to that moment was one of effortless grace. This illusion of the effortless win is a cruel poison because it convinces us that our own pain, our own falls, our own brokenness are not part of a larger, more beautiful story, but instead a definitive verdict on our potential. But what if the profound, liberating truth, as Manny Pacquiao so powerfully articulated, is the exact opposite? What if your scars are not signs of weakness, but the very ingredients of your greatest victories? What if the real measure of a champion, and by extension, the real measure of your own power, is not a pristine, undefeated record, but the story of how you fought your way through the darkness to finally reach the light? His iconic quote isn't a celebration of winning, it's a defiant roar against the lie of the easy road. He said, "Success is sweet, and it's even sweeter if it is long awaited and won by amid struggles and defeats." This isn't just a philosophy for athletes, it's a profound, soul-awakening truth for anyone who has ever felt too broken, too scared, or too inadequate to begin. It's the understanding that the greatest tragedy isn't the loss itself, but the life unlived because we were too afraid to fight for it. This demands a radical shift in mindset, moving from a passive acceptance of pain to a fierce, unrelenting celebration of the effort required to overcome it. For too long, the echoes of our past failures, our painful setbacks, and our personal defeats have convinced us that we are simply not good enough. We allow these past outcomes to define our future potential, believing that the pain of the past disqualifies us from the promise of the future. We tell ourselves, "I can't possibly succeed after all that," or "My story is too messy," or "I've already been knocked down too many times." As these aren't genuine truths. They are carefully constructed excuses designed to protect us from the vulnerability of effort. But every moment you spend in this state of suspended animation, you deny yourself the very experiences that would build your confidence, hone your skills, and ultimately lead you towards your desired future. This is about cultivating an unshakable belief, not in a magic solution, but in your own inherent untapped capacity for resilience and transformation. It's the kind of belief that understands that true power lies in the internal choice to fight for what you want, even when every external signal tells you to retreat. The story of Manny Pacquiao isn't just about his 12 major world titles in 8 different weight divisions. It's about the decades of unseen, relentless effort, sacrifice, and struggle that preceded them. He was a small, poor boy from the Philippines, a high school dropout, sleeping on the streets, fighting for food, and sending money back to his family. A lesser person might have taken that as a definitive sign to quit, to accept that his lot in life was simply to survive, not to thrive. But for Pacquiao, his hardships were a profound crucible for his legendary discipline and his unwavering determination. He channeled the pain and the hunger of his past into an insatiable hunger to win, to fight, and to build a better life for himself and his family. He proved that true genius isn't an innate gift you are born with, but the relentless, unexcused pursuit of a higher calling, a fierce refusal to accept anything less than his absolute best. He chose to believe that the difference between a life of defeat and a life of victory was not his circumstances, but his will to fight. He chose to fight every single day, every single practice, every single round, proving that the only real obstacle is the one you allow yourself to believe in, the one born from a lack of effort and sacrifice. The modern world, with its endless distractions and its subtle encouragement of instant gratification, often allows us to create a smokescreen of busyness and complexity, masking our underlying resistance to genuine effort. This lack of focused effort blurs our clarity, obscures our true vision, and disconnects us from our deepest purpose. When we allow the fear of sacrifice and hard work to paralyze us, our intentions become fragmented, our decisions indecisive, and our actions inconsistent. To truly embrace Pacquiao's philosophy of fighting for your dream, you must cultivate a ruthless clarity about what you want and why you want it. Stripping away every non-essential, every justification for delay. Your vision must be so vivid, your purpose so compelling that the sheer force of it incinerates the temptation to take the easy road. Think of the immense pressure Pacquiao faced throughout his career, particularly after his devastating knockout loss to Juan Manuel Marquez in 2012. It was a fall of a different kind, a brutal public defeat that many saw as the end of his career. The media and the public relentlessly focused on this loss, framing it as the definitive final chapter. But for Pacquiao, his mindset was one of pure, unadulterated recovery. His purpose to continue his legacy was a powerful catalyst, but his true vision was in the journey itself, in the relentless discipline of getting back in the gym, of training harder, of refining his technique, and of confronting the immense psychological pressure of a devastating loss. His actions in those moments were a masterclass in resilience, a defiant refusal to let the narrative of a loss become the story of his career. He proved that a true champion isn't defined by the number on the trophy, but by the fire that ignites after a defeat, by the unyielding commitment to keep fighting for a dream, no matter how long it takes. This is where transformative action truly begins, not when you feel perfect or ready, but when you simply choose to begin, armed with unwavering intent. The powerful truth is that every day you postpone, every moment you hesitate because of a perceived limitation, is a day you deny yourself the opportunity to prove your own resilience. The ultimate act of self-love, especially after hardship, is the defiant refusal to let your past dictate your future. It's the conscious choice to show up for yourself, to put in the uncomfortable, consistent effort, and to make the necessary sacrifices, knowing that every step, however small, is a step towards liberation. This relentless fight for it approach allows you to channel your energy with surgical precision, eliminating the noise and focusing on the essential, propelling you forward with an almost unstoppable force, turning potential into tangible, measurable progress. The siren song of comfort often leads us to avoid the very discomfort necessary for growth and healing. We seek the path of least resistance, convincing ourselves that ease will lead to success, when in reality it often leads to stagnation and a perpetuation of old patterns. But to truly embody Pacquiao's philosophy, you must embrace the uncomfortable, a fearless confrontation with the very things you've been excusing yourself from. This kind of courageous engagement fosters unshakable resilience. Resilience isn't a passive trait, it's an active process, forged in the crucible of discomfort, hardened by the consistent decision to lean into challenges rather than retreat from them. It's the muscle that develops when you consistently choose courage over comfort, effort over ease. Consider the immense strength required to come back from profound disappointment, as Pacquiao did after that career-altering loss. The conventional wisdom might have been for him to retire, to focus on his political career, to accept that his body could no longer handle the demands of elite boxing. But his internal mindset was one of pure effort and commitment. He had a deep primal gratitude for the opportunity to compete, to push himself, to keep fighting for a dream that was bigger than himself. This gratitude was not for the failures themselves, but for the raw capacity to endure, to learn from every mistake, to get up every single morning and choose to fight again. He didn't dwell in self-pity, he embraced the uncomfortable reality of his new path, and in that process, he developed an unparalleled mental toughness and a renewed hunger that ultimately led him to a series of stunning victories, including his victory over Keith Thurman to win the WBA welterweight title at the age of 40, proving that even a history of failures, even a devastating loss, can be a profound part of a greater journey, a necessary crucible for forging the strength required to reach the ultimate prize. This success is sweeter amid struggles. Philosophy fundamentally shifts your relationship with difficulty. You stop seeing obstacles as reasons to stop and start seeing them as opportunities to discover untapped strength, as crucial steps in the journey of transformation. Your willingness to lean into the discomfort, to push past the fear of impossibility, is what ultimately differentiates those who simply hope from those who truly thrive, who emerge from the ashes stronger, wiser, and more powerfully aligned with their purpose. The insidious nature of the fear of sacrifice is that it creates a comfortable cage, limiting our adaptability and preventing us from evolving. We become rigid, resistant to change, because change often demands stepping into the unknown, a place where effort is not only possible but likely. But to truly embody Pacquiao's philosophy is to embrace relentless adaptability. It's about cultivating an internal compass so strong, a sense of purpose so unshakable that you can navigate any terrain, adjust to any shift, and innovate beyond any obstacle, transforming challenges into opportunities. Your willingness to shed old fears and embrace new risks, unburdened by the paralysis of what if it's too hard, becomes your greatest competitive advantage. This fierce commitment to growth fuels a relentless drive for learning. Every setback isn't a defeat, it's a lesson, a puzzle to be solved, a new skill to acquire. Every moment of discomfort becomes a classroom, pushing you to expand your knowledge, refine your strategies, and deepen your understanding of yourself and the world. Think of the evolution of Pacquiao's boxing style over his career. He didn't simply rely on his natural talent. He became a more complete fighter, a more effective leader, a master of a different kind of effort as he aged and his body changed. He adapted his game, learning new ways to contribute, new ways to impact the ring, new ways to lead his team. He embodied the fierce commitment to learning and adaptability, constantly refining his approach, driven by an unyielding purpose to be the best. His success is sweeter amid struggles philosophy manifested not just in his spectacular knockouts, but in his unselfish dedication to his training, his tireless work off the ball, his dedication to the team. He was willing to sacrifice personal glory for collective success, understanding that the ultimate dream required a different kind of effort, a different kind of work hard for it. This unyielding dedication, this profound immersion in his craft, cultivates a wisdom that can only come from direct and intense and sustained engagement with your chosen domain. When you truly internalize the fight for it philosophy, you stop waiting for perfect conditions and start creating them, one arduous, intentional step at a time. Your actions become infused with a purposeful intensity, a quiet power born from the understanding that progress is always earned, never given. It's the fearless acceptance that the most profound triumphs often arise from the most unlikely starting points, when fueled by an uncompromising will to simply put in the effort and make the sacrifices required. So if you've felt the crushing weight of past trauma, if loss has left you feeling hollow, or if major setbacks have convinced you that your moment has passed, hear this truth etched into the very fabric of Manny Pacquiao's unparalleled legacy. Your success is not a gift. It is a prize to be earned, a battle to be fought, a masterpiece to be built with your own hands, with your own sacrifices, with your own hard work. Your past does not own your future. Your current circumstances are not your permanent address. The only thing standing between you and the life you yearn to live is the courage to believe, the willingness to fight even when the outcome is uncertain. Embrace the fierce mindset that declares, my success is my responsibility and I will earn it. Cultivate an unshakable belief in your inherent capacity to heal, to rebuild, to rise, knowing that your internal power is boundless. Seek clarity not in waiting for a guaranteed outcome, but in the deliberate, courageous act of stepping forward into the unknown, allowing your path to illuminate itself with each committed step, driven by an unyielding vision of your highest self. Let your profound purpose be the blazing sun that melts away all doubts and illuminates every path forward, consuming any shadows of regret or hesitation. Embrace discipline as your greatest ally, the consistent, unapologetic choice to show up for yourself, to do the uncomfortable work, to take the necessary action day after relentless day. Cultivate gratitude for the raw strength you discover within yourself, for the wisdom gained through hardship, for the scars that tell your story of survival and triumph, and for the sheer privilege of being an active participant in your own magnificent comeback. Build adaptability by training your mind to embrace change, to pivot with purpose, and to innovate under pressure, making fluidity your ultimate strength. And commit to lifelong learning, recognizing that every obstacle, every moment of discomfort is a classroom designed to make you stronger, wiser, and more capable, constantly expanding your boundaries and pushing the limits of what you thought possible. The world doesn't need your hesitation. It needs your heroic action. It needs your effort. It needs the extraordinary person you are capable of becoming. Your greatest triumphs, your deepest healing, your most profound fulfillment await you on the other side of that courageous decision to fight, to sacrifice, and to work hard for it. It's time to stop wishing and start earning. The journey begins now.